would see like a high ticket thing as, anything over, 25K, right? Mid ticket, maybe anything below 25K, but over 10K. You get what I'm saying? Like it all depends on the size of their business and what they expect to be bringing in via revenue. But for persons who are generally kind of just starting, or for persons who, are small to mid-size or anything like that, especially for solopreneurs in this digital space, like it's safe to say that low ticket is under $100, mid ticket is under $1,000, and high ticket is, oh wow, over $1,000, right? So yeah, just keeping it simple, right? There's some persons who will say, or will further break this down to say lower low ticket, lower and higher low ticket. They'd say lower mid ticket versus higher. Yeah, they just keeping it simple, right? So cool. And of course, I mean the half marks they'd use it like $50 versus, and $500 and all of that. And then yeah, again, just keeping it simple. Anyway, so usually seen in a product suite, this allows for a natural progression with your sales process and brand marketing process also. So here's how that link happens. Now, a reality is that there's some persons who will invest in you like no matter what, like if they see that value that we're trying to make them perceive and what perceive, then that's great. So some persons will, invest the 5 figures full, right? Whereas others need a little more time to not only consider generally, but to feel you out. And so they'd love to maybe move up kind of a ladder, if you will. So maybe you have a low ticket offer, then a mid ticket offer, then a high ticket offer. So there are persons who would rather just bite off a little bit, see what that's about or whatever, see if you're capable and stuff. Because at the end of the day, and you have to think about it, there's some persons who won't feel comfortable investing a large amount when they don't know if they're gonna get results. And that's natural. You get what I'm saying? So you doing this, which is the hybrid version, as I said, really allows for there to be a middle ground, because at the end of the day, also, if they are only paying a certain amount, then that also facilitates you setting a proper boundary to say, all right, cool, for this amount, I'm not giving more than this, for this amount, then I'll give this. You get what I'm saying? So it's a really good middle ground that both the customer and the business owner end up meeting it at. And then, yeah, it provides that level of freedom and empowerment on both sides, honestly. So in that case, this allows persons to have access to products that allow them to, test your brand so that they can make a more informed decision to work with you at a higher price point later on. So even in terms of the brand marketing process and stuff, like, all right, cool, whatever you're bringing forward in your brand, is that backed up by substance? You get what I'm saying? So it allows them to directly test everything and see if, you are worth your salt, and then they can make their decision. You get me? Next thing, it allows the person to feel like your offerings are more accessible to a wider demographic, and more easily communicate value-based on specified inclusion. So for instance, so think of like the wider demographic. Now, I'm not talking about like 50 million niches, right? I am talking about if you have a niche like women or mothers, I love to use this example, mothers with 2 kids under 2. You get what I'm saying? Our reality is that there are mothers with 2 kids under 2 in every country in the world, right? And so with that being in every country in the world, there are different economic things happening in the different countries, as I explained earlier. So then what are the how do you serve somebody in Africa versus somebody in the US, when in Africa it takes thousands of dollars to make just $1 in, you get what I'm saying? Like legit, right? So saying that to say, maybe you have a low ticket offer that gives general transformations that, can at least help them to possibly make more money to then afford your higher price services. You get what I'm saying? So that's a thing that a lot of people actually go through in this online stage, or in a place rather, or space, where they work with a specific coach, or they work with a specific service provider from low ticket go right up. And a reality is that every tier provides a level of transformation that helps them to climb. It's a beautiful thing, really. Next thing, this allows persons to recognize that there are natural boundaries in your business, and if they desire more value, they'll have to pay more money. As I was saying earlier, it's that mutual understanding of value and mutual understanding of return on investment, right? Investment from the business owner's perspective as well as the client's perspective, right? So if I invest $100, this is what you are getting for that $100. If I invest my time and money and whatever, or my time in meeting with you on live calls and things like that, then my investment of my time and my expertise and my energy should then be rewarded by a higher rate. Yeah. So saying that to say though, there is no one way to set up your pricing or your product suite. And it does, however, help you with your offer development and figuring out the pricing you want to attach to certain, I'm so sorry about that. Guys, it's C. Certain levels of transformation from your products and or services, right? So again, I'm not even just talking about offers. You can have products. Maybe you are a store that has various types of makeup or various types of clothing, various types of books or things like that. And maybe you want to create bundles. Maybe you want something of the sort. At the end of the day, you are the one who has the power to figure out exactly how you can set up a product suite with your products or with your individual services